Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday afternoon and it is time for the Peaceful Eating Q&A. And before I get going with the questions that I have to answer this week, I want to let you know that this is going to be the last Q&A for the foreseeable future. So thank you for sending in all your questions. I've really enjoyed doing this, but there are other things that I'm wanting to do with peaceful eating. So I'm just parking the Q&A for a little while and maybe forever. I just don't know how it's going to go. And so this is the last one for a while. And before I get to the questions, I want you to know that on offer this month, I have a masterclass called How to Deal with Emotional Eating. And if you struggle with emotional eating, I really recommend that you come along. Just go to peacefuleating.co.uk/masterclasses, and it should take you to the emotional eating page. And if it doesn't, you can just look on the drop down menu and find it there. It's it's should be affordable for most people, but I do get that it's not going to be affordable for everybody. But there we are. I've got something on offer for you around emotional eating. All right, let me get to this week's questions. So, to be honest, let me just remind you that these are all anonymous. I don't know the people who send them in, or maybe I do, but they don't let me know. So I'm just taking everything that I read at face value. Please know that this is not medical advice or psychotherapeutic advice. It is, comes from my knowledge, my experience, but it isn't a replacement for medical or psychotherapeutic advice or treatment. All right, first one. Is it okay to use weight loss as your goal for eating healthily and exercising? I try to focus on other goals that aren't related to getting thinner, but realistically, I know that losing weight is my main goal. Well, I mean, you do you. You go ahead and do whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. What is it? I'm wondering why you're asking me the question. What is the question underneath your question? So, yes, it's okay to do that if that's what you want to do. From my point of view, what is going to be the outcome of having weight loss as your goal? In all likelihood, the behaviors that you do are not going to be sustainable. You might lose the weight or lose some weight and then stop doing the behaviors because perhaps you're doing them in ways that are unsustainable. You might not lose weight and then give up on the behaviors that are actually supportive of your health. You might lose weight and then think that this is a great thing and then increase the behaviors to the point where they are then counterproductive for your health. So, the point is that a focus on weight loss doesn't help you stay checked into yourself. It doesn't help you assess your appetite, it doesn't help you assess your satisfaction. It doesn't help you assess your other needs that might be going on. You might override certain needs because your goal is weight loss. You might it potentially could lead you to binge eating. So if I don't know if binge eating is a thing for you. So, the answer is yes and no. Of course, yes, it's okay for you to do that because you're your own person. You hopefully have autonomy over your own, life and actions and what matters to you and what you want to do. But if what you want is to be at peace with food and be at peace with your body, then a focus on weight loss is not going to get you there, in my opinion. Sorry, I see that this is gone out of focus. Hello, Paula. So nice to see you there. All right. Sorry. I forget to look at my camera and it's a bit odd that it keeps going out of focus. Next one. I've been intuitive eating for a year and have gained so much weight. Can I lose weight while still being an intuitive eater? Being this size does not feel one bit intuitive to me. So this is a similar question to the one before. Um, so, you know, no. I mean, no, that's not true. Can I lose weight while still being an intuitive eater? Yes, it's possible to. For some people, not all people are going to lose weight when they embrace intuitive eating. It really depends on your body, your past relationship with food and your body, how much dieting you've done, for how long. And there's no kind of, I can't, there's no matrix, that you could just put in those details and go, yep, you'll lose weight if you are an intuitive eater, or no, you won't lose weight if you're an intuitive eater. The thing about intuitive eating is that it is about letting go of weight loss as a goal, because it takes you away from your intuition, takes you away from your ability to be attuned to your own appetite, but also to yourself. So it's possible that as you just continue on the journey of really trying to listen to your body, that there might be a point at which you will lose weight. There might not be, I don't know how it's going to be. What you say is being the size does not feel one bit intuitive to me. That's an interesting thing. I mean, I think what you're saying is I don't like being the size. The intuitive bit, I think, is probably not the accurate word to be choosing, because that sounds like, you see, when we use the word intuitive, it's like it can't be questioned, right? It's something that's intuitive is something we just know. It's just natural. And so saying being the size does not feel one bit intuitive to me sounds like you're protecting yourself from challenging your beliefs about your size. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Maybe you can tell me if you are getting what I'm onto, Paula, if you're still there. Um, so, part of the work is in coming to a place of acceptance with how our bodies are and how they look and how they feel. And that's not an easy journey, because the culture around us doesn't make it easy. The culture around us tells us how we should look and what is supposedly attractive or what is approved of. We judge bodies in many different ways. So it does take quite a lot of internal work to come to a place of acceptance of our bodies. The truth is, bodies change. Okay, and thinking that bodies are static and are always going to be the same is just incorrect thinking, because bodies age, we grow, we get ill, we become whatever, we skin loses its elasticity, parts of our bodies droop over time, muscles lose their elasticity. So it's just a part of life that bodies change. So one way or another, we have to come to terms with the fact that bodies change, and that we're not so much in control of how our bodies look. We might be in control of our hair color. We might be in control of, what clothing we wear, whether we cut our hair or not, what we do with our body hair, we might be somewhat in control of. But there's not a whole lot that we are in control of when it comes to our bodies. All right. Struggling with wanting to eat lots of sweet foods when eating intuitively. Biscuits, chocolate, ice cream. Do you have any advice? So, why is it a struggle? You see, the fact that you think that it's a struggle, to me, shows that there is diet mentality there. What is wrong with eating biscuits, chocolate, ice cream? What is wrong with eating sweet foods? I don't know enough. I don't know, if you think about how much or what you're eating, say in a week, is most of what you're eating biscuits, chocolate, and ice cream? And even if it is most of what you're eating, Part of the process with intuitive eating is giving yourself permission to eat exactly what you want and really helping you to know that those foods are going to be there the next time you want them. So when you know that they are going to be there the next time you want them, it's not like you should only eat 3 or you should only eat whatever, and you should stop at this much. You should only have 1 bowl of ice cream. You should only have it once a day or whatever. If you can let go of all of that and really try to listen to your body, pretend to yourself, if it requires pretend to yourself that no matter how many biscuits, chocolate, and ice, and no matter how much biscuits, chocolate, and ice cream you eat, it's not going to impact anything at all. It won't impact your teeth. It won't impact your weight. It won't impact your health outcome. When I said pretend, by the way, I wasn't meaning that none of this is true. I'm just really wanting you to try to step into embracing this because you might not believe it. So just see if you can embrace that idea that eating biscuits, chocolate, and ice cream would have absolutely no impact on anything. How would that change the struggle? See, it's probably you're struggling because you are fearing that eating whatever the quantity is going to impact. Probably you fearing your weight, but I don't know because I haven't talked to you. But maybe you're fearing it's going to impact your health. And the fear is probably driving the compulsion beyond what your appetite is, perhaps. But maybe it's just what you feel like eating. And the more you can just give yourself that permission to have whatever it takes for you to feel satisfied, and see if you can eat those foods quietly, noticing what they taste like, what they feel like when you've reached that satisfaction point, and let that be your cue over when to stop. How satisfying is this? When do I reach a satisfaction point? And see if you can stop at a place where it's just at that sweet spot of satisfaction, because more the satisfaction starts to go down. And and see if you can let that be your guide. So I hope that that helps. What I want to say is try not to worry about it. See if you can do this kind of mental exercise over however much of this I eat. For as long as I eat, it's not going to impact anything. And what I'm going to do, because I hope that that just helps everything to relax, what I'm going to do is trust my appetite signals, my sense of satisfaction around this. See how that goes. Oops, out of focus again. All right, last question. I love to eat cake and some days have this several times. I'm aware it is high in sugar and fat. I know you suggest not seeing foods as good or bad, but I find it hard to be at peace with myself eating this amount of sugar treats. What sort of questions could I ask myself to get curious about my enjoyment of cake? But it sounds like the reason you want the questions to get curious is to help you stop eating the cake, which is going to drive you to eat more cake. This is diet mentality. So all of these questions have diet mentality threaded through them today. Let yourself eat the cake. Let yourself eat the amount of cake that is satisfying to you. Notice what the mind is telling you. Notice if it's telling you this is too much cake, this is high in sugar and fat. Sugar and fat is bad. This is all diet mentality. So what can you do to speak back to those thoughts? I can eat as much cake as is satisfying. I will eat as much cake as is satisfying. Cake is cake. There is no moral difference between cake and anything else. What else could you say to yourself? I'm not going to crave cake forever all of the time, because if you really are listening to yourself, it's highly unlikely that you will just want to eat the one thing forever. But part of the healing process is really letting yourself eat what you want to eat and enjoying it and doing it without guilt and without those worries about, health or weight. And to trust yourself that um, this too will pass. You will want something else. You're not going to only want cake. And in fact, it sounds like you're not only wanting cake, but you think it's too much cake. You think you're wanting too much cake. So, I mean, what sort of questions could I ask myself to get curious about my enjoyment of cake? I'm happy to answer that question. I'm just pointing to the potential motivation for asking that question. If it's so that you will want to eat less cake, you are still in diet mentality, and that is still going to be driving the compulsion to eat more cake or more, whatever. So, in other words, eating it out of a reaction to I should stop eating this, rather than eating it out of I really feel like cake. That's what I really feel like. So, what sort of questions could you ask yourself to get curious about cake is, what do I like about this taste? What do I like about this texture? What does this remind me of? What does this connect me to? Am I still enjoying this? What about this is still enjoyable? Is it texture? Is it flavor? Is it sweetness? Is it some other quality of the cake? Is it a creamy cake? Is it a highly sweet cake? Is it a chocolatey cake? Is it any kind of cake? So therefore, maybe it's the kind of cake texture that you like. But does it remind you of anything? What memories might it trigger? Cake or eating cake? So I hope that helps. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. I've really enjoyed spending this time with you doing the Q&A. And you can stay connected with me by joining my email list, and you will get weekly notifications of blogs that I'm publishing, and any other things, courses that I'm running, or the master classes, etc., etc. So I hope that we connect in some way. All right. Thank you so much for being here, and wish you really, really well on your continued journey. Bye for now.